Well, maybe you've experienced tragedy in your life. I think that most of us have in one way or the other. And I guess the bigger question is, does that tragedy make us better or does it make us bitter? My next guest is TaNesha McAuley, and she's the author of Not Your Average Joe, Fulfilling Your Destiny Even When It Seems Delayed. Welcome. I am so glad that you're here, TaNesha.
Thank you for having me.
Your story is unbelievably powerful. Let's talk about, first of all, the overall message of the book, but I want to jump right into what inspired you to write it.
Absolutely. What inspired me was this was my husband's story. He was in the process of journaling his life and his life experiences, and then life showed up in a way that we never imagined. And so, in honor of his life and his transition, I wanted to finish his story because I knew that it was powerful and that it could help someone else along the way. Despite it being a very difficult journey for me to be able to do it, I was given the grace to go for it. And here we are today at Not Your Average Joe.
Hmm. He went to heaven how many years ago now?
Actually, the other day made a 6-year transition anniversary.
Okay. Let's talk about what the overall message is of the book.
The overall message in Not Your Average Joe is to never give up despite what hurdles life may throw at us. Because what we realized is there are so many things that happen and can happen. Some may be unfortunate or more unfortunate than others. But with faith and our ability to press forward, you can accomplish anything. And Not Your Average Joe is a journey that will encourage anyone, no matter where you are in life, even in sickness. If your will to do what you were purposed to do, it can be accomplished. You are given the grace to be able to continue to move forward.
And of course, a little play on the book. Your husband's name was Joe McAuley,
Yeah, well,
not your average Joe.
Not Your Average Joe. His birth name was Herman Joseph Morris Jr.
Mm,
And he was a young man, and he always felt that the name Herman aged him a little bit.
sure.
So his preference in his personal and his professional life was to go by Joe.
No. Why don't you share the lifespan and what he had to overcome? Because that's really what the book is about, is his success, his overcoming in ways that just blow your mind.
Absolutely. I believe that Joe was here before. I know people always, kind of say that, but I believe that he was here in another life.
Mm,
And even from childhood, he grew up in an amazing family, a beautiful and loving family. But he started off with some challenges as a little boy. He had a childhood cancer that was very rare, and
mm,
he was blessed to recover. And he had some turns and twists in life that almost impacted his freedom. And he just had a moment where he just had to take a look at life. And it was at that moment where he was temporarily in custody for a crime that he committed. And there was an attorney that advocated for him. And he was blessed to not have to face that route or that path in life. And from there, it's almost like he said, I want to do something different. And that moment was a pivotal moment for him. And he turned his life around. And he went on to accomplish and achieve every goal that he set out for, to include
mm.
applying to and getting accepted into a law program. And
Wow.
he just did amazing things.
I mean, truly, that experience, that tragedy in his life made him better. He chose better instead of bitter. And he took I mean, hugely successful professionally and personally in his life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He sure did.
Tanisha, we talk a lot about the spiritual side of things, and that's a really important element of this book, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that.
Faith, we were both brought up in Christian homes, and we are, believers, and our faith, I never thought that our faith would be tested as much as it was as we supported Joe during his time of illness, and not just illness, but even in the successes that we had. Faith was so critical, and our faith and our belief in God is what really carried us. It allowed us to experience the greatest level of love that one could ever imagine. Without that being a factor in our lives, I don't know how either of us would have made it. And I know that
Mm.
some would probably say, well, he's not here. But to see the level of grace that Joe was given to be able to achieve things, even in his darkest moment, is unheard of. And I'm not saying
Mm.
that it has never been done before, but to witness it was nothing short of amazing. So, yes, our faith and our belief in God was our foundation that helped us get through how we were able to get through.
You talk about that faith in the wilderness, and then also family. And it's interesting because not just while he was going through his tragedy as an older man passing, but the faith and the family support that he had while he was making these bad choices. They never gave up on him, and that's part of the story of the book too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. His family, I admired his family, and they were so loving, and it's a part of the book that actually talks about before Joe was even born and how they had all came together because they wanted a little brother. He had all older sisters. And so that family, and even going back into the faith, they believed so much that they went out and bought baby clothes before he was ever born
Oh my
because they
goodness, that's
knew.
faith.
Yeah, that's definitely faith. So yeah,
It was destined.
absolutely.
TaNesha, I wanna ask you about the fact that it's not your ordinary biography. There's something really
Yeah,
special about this one.
yeah.
Share with me about that.
It was just his life, you know, just what he fulfilled his purpose, and he wanted to share it with everybody. He wanted to share it with the world. He wanted people to know that despite whatever you've gone through, you can make it. Like, and that was his story. He's like, he had a brush with the legal system that almost railroaded his dreams. He had a childhood sickness that, it could have taken his life away. Whenever Joe was in high school, one of the things that I love about the book that he shared, like a lot of teenagers, he really didn't care much for school. School was a place for socializing and getting
Right.
friends. And so as he got towards the end, he realized, like, there are some things that I'm not doing. I'm not achieving on the level that I should be. I come from a great family. They've invested in me. I'm not doing what I need to do. And so he had to do some things to get him to where he needed to be. So people would be amazed to know that he started at our local community college, because he was not reading at the grade level that he wanted to, and not that he couldn't. He was just not. He wasn't there, and so
Mhm.
he made a choice, and he said, "Hey, it doesn't matter what happens. I'm going to do this." So he started from a community college, and then he transitioned to one of the most top, 4-year universities. And this was all in the midst of people saying that, "Oh, you'll never do it. You'll never
Right.
accomplish it."
You will
He had
do
an
it.
instructor that said, "You'll never get into law school." And so on his first attempt, he got into law school. So
This
he
is a
showed
book,
that
I
it
mean,
didn't matter.
everybody needs to read.
Everybody needs
Yeah.
to read.
TaNesha, I wish we had more time. There's so much more to cover, but I think the best thing we can do is lead our listeners and viewers to the website that's on the screen to purchase the book. And we thank you so much for being here and sharing about Not Your Average Joe, Fulfilling Your Destiny Even When It Seems Delayed, by TaNesha McAuley. Thank you so much.
Thank you.